want to explain one part of it because it was not really explained as I wanted it to be when I started writing it, but some people with bad breath are usually the last ones to know it. And the reason why I said that was because in our conversations, Chantell and I would have conversations about different things, and she would say stuff, and I would always tell her, you're really not hearing what you're saying. Because if you heard what you're saying, you would realize it applies back to me too. And a lot of times we do that. We're easy to point the finger and say, well, you know, men ain't this, and men don't do that, and men. And then that's where the whole, you know, conversation begins to develop about, well, okay, if a man is not all this, okay, let's look at the stuff we can deal with, which is yourself, because that's the only thing you can change.
Chapter 1, it's time to move some mountains. Why am I writing this book? What is the purpose? What is my real reason? Truth be told, I am scared out of my mind. It just does not make sense to me how I've been operating for the past few years. I have been on tour with Tyler Perry, and sometimes for no rhyme or reason, we would just live in the moment. We did not always rehearse, and he would always say, let's see what happens. Like the time I received a call from Tyler Perry to do someone's part in Medea's class reunion. The reason I was there was to replace someone who was not working out. I had never seen the show or had a script to review. I was in the audience waiting to see the show for the first time like everyone else that night, and I got a word from backstage that Tyler wanted to see me. I asked if he could wait until intermission, and they said, no, come now. I went backstage, and as soon as I saw Tyler, he was laughing and said, guess what? That girl just quit. I could not help but laugh too. We were at Morgan State, and the show was sold out. I'm not sure what he said next. I just remember my answer. It's your show, let's do it. He sent me off to wardrobe, and at that moment, I went into shock. I called my mother and told her to get all of the praying people she knew together because Tyler had lost his mind. I personally need to see how God was going to do this one. That was the day that I saw God. No, that was the day I experienced God. He said, if I have the faith the size of a mustard seed, I could move mountains. It's time to move some mountains.
Free your mind, and the rest will follow. Just as I hit the first step to go upstairs, he grabbed me and said, your daddy's not here. I was so happy. I said, great, let's get home. I started running to the car so that I could go home to see my dad. I suppose I had not really compared my happiness to the upset. We were almost home when my uncle pulled the car over. I didn't understand what he was doing. I said, Uncle Walter, we're almost home, let's go. He told me that my father was not home either. I said, okay, let's go wherever he is. Then he told me that my father had some complications today and that he had gone home to be with the Lord. It was as if the world just stopped. My body became numb. I began screaming so loud, I kept saying, no, 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 no! Why are you lying to me? Take me home, take me home, take me home. He tried to hold me. Said, get your hands off me. Take me home. My father's death was a main component in my relationships. Back in those days, people didn't suggest counseling. They said stuff like, "We'll understand it better by and by." I did not really understand it until I was 37 years old. This is a long time to hold on to something I didn't know how to let go. Sometimes I feel like a fatherless child. Sometimes I feel like a fatherless child. Sometimes no.